Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm April Martinez.
And I'm Paul Lopez.
And good morning. Good morning, Paul.
Good
It's
morning.
Monday.
It is Monday.
It's good to have you on the couch on a Monday.
It's good to be here. It's the start of a week. There's no better way to start the week than to be here and to be able to kind of usher in a brand new week. Also winding down the month as well with our viewers. Already winding down the month. March is coming 16th. To an end. And I love the fact that outside we're getting the type of winds that is customary for
Easter
this time of the year. I was out yesterday. I took my baby girl to the park. I usually try on weekends as best as possible to have some daddy-daughter time. Like, tell mommy, no, you can't always the day we step aside. And so I did so yesterday. What delighted me the most was her amusement when she saw the kites. Aww. Right? This is the first time seeing kites. She has no idea what kites are, but the creators, they did so well in making these really vibrant kites, huge, the colors, the shapes, and so she was amused, and we spent a lot of time yesterday just looking at kites flying in the air, and it really brought me down to earth and brought me back to reality, that sometimes it's the simple things, right? Yeah. Sometimes it's the simple things in life that brings the greatest joy, and the simple moments. And so perhaps that's my word of the day.
Aw, Paul, that's nice. Yeah. I like that for a Monday morning. Start it with such a positive vibe.
Yeah, of course.
I think the moral of this story from my angle would be that next year you'd build your baby a kite.
Well, yeah. And that's the thing, right? I have to figure out back how to do it, because I used to,
we used to have the kits. I don't know if when you met small, we used to have kits. But you had like the wood.
I had
the structure.
I had the natural kit in my environment.
Paul got
I had plastic bag in the cupboard. I had a coconut tree in my yard. Treadmill always in the drawer. And we made kites.
So you could make a kite with your baby girl?
I forgot how to do it, but I'm gonna remember. And then YouTube wasn't there; it's there now. So
yes, well, that's awesome, Paul. I'm really happy, and I hope that our viewers start their morning right with us, wherever you are. Get your cup of coffee if you're getting ready to go to work. Thank you so much for starting your morning here with Open Your Eyes. Here's our show lineup for today. We have a jam-packed Monday morning with awesome conversations ready for you. We're going to start things off with the breakdown of the 2026 budget. As you know, that was presented last week, Tuesday, in the House. And so we're going to be speaking to Rumil Arana. He's an economist, and he's going to be talking about or breaking down the budget for us. We have some questions for him as well. The next conversation is unlocking power through Brain Awareness Week. It is Brain Awareness Week. So we're going to have some folks in from the Brain Awareness Society to talk to us a little bit more about what they have planned for this week. Next, sharing faith with the next generation. And finally, I think Paul and I are going to be building some Lego robots. We're going to be doing that with STEM. We're going to be encouraging STEM through Legos with the Belize High School. So all great conversations for this lovely Monday morning.
Last year or the year before, I participated in the Lego competition with BHS as a host, and it really opened my eyes as to the ingenuity of this generation, how we're able to take simple things and make it work and make it function with technology. it's amazing. And so to see that they're continuing this national Lego competition program, and that we'll have them on this morning, I think it's a conversation worth staying tuned to the entire show to make sure that you catch.
And the thing is that Legos are something, I don't know about you guys, but I love building things out of Legos. And so for them to put a little bit of engineering into it, some electrical wires, and you know, having a robot bring you your cup of coffee.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely love that.
Yeah, our knowledge and use of Legos went as far as putting something simple together. Now these kids are making them move and dance and performing tasks. All right. In terms of the 5 things you need to know this morning, we have quite a lineup. We're going to be speaking a bit about the Leader of the Opposition's demands explanation for a fuel price increase. Secondly, commuters upset after exiting bus to climb a hill. A video went viral yesterday, and we may touch on it as we're still trying to figure out if it was a national bus company, a private charter. Belize Forest Department recaptures Lemonal Jaguar. That's another interesting story. A troubled jaguar in that community has been captured. Protests erupt in Cuba as U.S. restrictions deepen food, energy crisis. And also we have to look at where Belize and Cuba's relationships stand as of today. The Prime Minister has been cagey. We haven't heard from the Foreign Minister as well. What's happening with those sensitive negotiations and our relationship with Cuba? And last but certainly not least, on an international front, going from regional to international, a very innovative 11-year-old designed a glass or glasses to help with dyslexia. I know a couple of people that I'm very close to that has or struggles with dyslexia.
It's a struggle all around the world.
And so to see such a young child tackling that issue, I think it's a very interesting and important conversation.
All right, but let's start with the nitty-gritty. Gas price gone up. Gas price gone up before it was supposed to gone up.
You think so?
Well, they tell me midnight Friday, and they had some places at 10, 9 that were already increasing the fuel price. And now, of course, we heard from the LOO, Tracy Panton, about, you know, demanding a better explanation for the fuel price. According to her statement, we don't outsource fuel from those war problem areas. We outsource our fuel from the United States and from the Central American and Mexico region. So what's the reason for the spike in the fuel price?
Yeah, I think one of the conversations we hear people having right now has to do with Thursday into Friday night, Thursday night into Friday morning. Why is it that the fuel price went up without them getting a new stock, right, or a new shipment?
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting conversation, and I'll be the first to admit that I am not in the fuel industry, so I don't know the intricacies of how the pricing work in terms of new stock and old stock, right? And how the proprietors of these various gas stations goes about making their price changes. But I think for any right-thinking Belizean, any rational Belizean, you consider the fact that once our old stock, it came with an old price or an established price, and you don't think that that price should go up simply because the market is changing outside, unless you have a new stock come in and that new stock is affected by that new price. So I think that's one of the conversations that people they have. And so where that is concerned, I with the Leader of the Opposition and with people that there needs to be some sort of explanation as to how it works where new stocks and old stocks are concerned and why prices go up on our old stock. And when do we know, how do we know when that old stock finish and when new stock come in to kind of add the price to it, or how does that work?
What I would really want is an owner of one of these gas companies, because I think sometimes when we see certain rise in commodities, we tend to go, why the government did they make this happen? But these stations are privately owned. These are companies, these are business owners. And so I would want that information to come from them, because when they raise their prices, like we spoke about it last week, Paul, where we're saying there is no range or there is no sort of autonomy being held for persons that just price gouge in Belize, right? We don't have any sort of policy or laws that prevent these sort of things or protect the consumer from these sort of incidents that happen. And so we shouldn't be surprised that there wasn't a public statement from our government to say price.
Well, we do away with
right?
that for such a long time, and perhaps it's time that we bring back those notices, and perhaps we call on the Britannia administration to bring back those notices, so that whenever there's an increase, and it's not only about increases, but even a decrease, that we are aware way ahead of time, and we don't have to find out through the media where they say you can't really trust their sources there. But the media always sensationalize things, but when it comes to important information like that, we can't go to the government to find out when gas prices went up or when it went down.
And that goes back to my point, because it's not like the gas stations are owned by the government, right?
Yeah.
So it would mean that the private owner has to inform.
But that
right?
I'm sure they have to inform, because how else did we know?
They've been getting away with
years?
not doing that for many years.
Well, we don't know if it is that they're not informing, or if it is that they inform, there's approval, and then there isn't any sort of...
Approval from what, though?
Well, not necessarily approval, but all right, you inform me, I'm aware as the government, and now my responsibility and my duty is to inform the people. But guess what? Back in, I think, when this government took office, gas prices continued to fluctuate, and it was a huge issue in terms of popularity and image, because the Brazilian administration was being heavily criticized by people every time gas prices changed, and even more so when they went up. And those public notices were a huge part of it, and we were observing clearly how less and less and how much the information was being in terms of dissemination was being withheld, right? And so you had to go to the pump, and bam, you're surprised, and so there's a demand, and I think rightly so, for that information to be to come back to the table, for it to be published. But also, there's a great deal of skepticism, given the fact that the Briceño family, they have investments in fuel, right? I think up to today's date, I know certainly in the past, and I think even up to today's date. And so when you see those sort of investments, you hear people talking, well, the fuel prices, they go up, and then this one, they benefit from it, and that one, they benefit from it, and they're all about benefiting from the people's pockets. And I know they said that the case, right? But because there is this interest where the Briceño family is concerned, then of course you got people who are skeptical. And so again, outside, and that's one of the reasons why I think people are, even the leader of the opposition is asking for an explanation. One, because we don't have those publications again, and two, because of just the general skepticism from people because of who invests in fuel and who has a stake in the fuel industry here in Belize. And so when you see gas prices go up, the first thing people ask, well, who pocket the benefit? Who the benefit from it? And it's a business. It's a business like a grocery store. It's a business like any other business. So of course, people are in it to make profits, but there is a need for an explanation. I think, though, that the leader of the opposition, at the same time, while I give her those, while I say those two things, needs a bit more detailed explanation, so that we could do away with the skepticism. Where I think the press release and the comments from the leader of the opposition fall short is that it makes her, to a degree, seems disconnected from what's happening in the world in terms of the war, what's happening in the world in terms of market prices with fuel, with oil, So the thresholds, the market thresholds, they've increased globally. And as a result, that's influencing market prices in the region and in Belize. And you only have to turn on your TV. You only have to watch the news to understand some of this. And that's some of the criticism I'm hearing about the leader of the opposition statement.
I really liked her suggestion, though, on we just had a visit with the Guyanese president, you know, and having those conversations to how we could alleviate. And I'm sure that that was part of their conversation when he was here. But to make a statement like, you know, soliciting from Venezuela, the U.S. right now holds Venezuela hostage when it comes to their oil. So there's no way we could go in there right now at this time. All of the business owners here from Puma, Shell, Uno, they outsource their fuel not just from the United States, but from other parts of the world. And whatever the United States gets is from other parts of the world, because it's not like, for example, Shell solicits oil or fuel from Texas, right? They solicit oil and fuel from Australia that comes into the States, then that then comes here, right? And they're facing their own crisis right now when it comes to oil because of the Strait of Hormuz. So there's a lot of connecting parts. My question is, why does it happen so quickly? That's my question, because it takes time for us to actually get these resources into the country. So back to your previous statement of, you know, old stock, new stock, and so on, my question is, what changes within the market that is in a matter of days that you're seeing the gas prices increase? Because I believe one of our viewers, Sonia Singh, made a comment on Facebook not too long ago saying she saw the prices increase in the U.S. and so she knew that it was a matter of time that it would increase here.
Of course,
right? Because we rely very much on the market.
Yeah.
But very, very quickly. And so if there's anybody out there that is willing to come on the couch and sit with us and explain that, we'll be very, very grateful.
And that's my point. There is a space for explanation, but at the same time, don't, in your statement, make it look as a leader of the opposition, or make it appear and can be interpreted as you're disconnected from knowing exactly what's happening across the world. And then the final part of the conversation has to do with whether or not the Briceño administration can decrease its tax pull from the cost of fuel. If we're talking about the government taking or getting or receiving some 40 to 50% in taxes from the overall price of fuel, and I'll be conservative to say around 40%, then the question is, why can't the government decrease its tax take from the cost of fuel from 40% to, let's say, even 30%, or maybe even 20%? And I hear the conversations, well, the government needs that money to provide for the tax revenues so that they can do things like NHI, and they can do things like infrastructure work, and they can do things like free education. I hear that rhetoric, I hear that rationale, but when we talk about 2015, when we talk about 2018, and the criticism that the then leader of the opposition, now Prime Minister, made against the then government, his solution was to decrease the tax take, the government's tax take on fuel, so that the Belizean drivers and motorists can feel some sense of relief when the cost of fuel goes up.
But
why is that not a solution on the table today?
But back then we didn't have the free education, NHI, and the infrastructure that we're seeing.
To fund.
So no, so it's always on these, and I mean, we didn't have it on our 5 things that we need to know, but right now all of these ministries are going through the audit with the Attorney General's office, right? And that's an entire kind of worms that we're seeing, that there's paperwork missing, persons can't, CEOs are not attending these briefings and so forth. So, I mean, we're going into a different rabbit hole right now, but the reality is that every country runs on taxes, right? And we're going to have this conversation with Rumi later. But for fuel and for oil, because the taxes can fluctuate, right? It's because of the liquidity of it, of the resource, they can decrease and they can increase.
Well,
taxes.
it's a balancing act,
it's
right?
a balancing act, but not everything,
Yeah.
not all of our taxes are run by how much we pay for fuel.
The thing is, though, April, while I hear you and I hear that these initiatives they have to be funded by tax income, right now, what people are feeling, it's
You're not seeing their bank for their money.
It's a grip. It's an impact that is present.
Yeah.
It's an impact that is current. It's an impact that is real, that goes beyond the medium term and the long term effect of any free NHI, beyond the medium term and the short term effect of free education. This is, I have to put in extra $10 to $20 when I go to the pump that I could have used to perhaps buy bread, that I could have used to perhaps buy half dozen of egg to feed my family. I'm just saying the impacts are real and they're happening now.
Absolutely.
And people are asking for relief now. We could talk about free education down the road, and that's what I'm hearing people say.
No, definitely. And I think it goes back to one of our viewers that made a comment last week about how we don't have a policy to help us with price gouging, right? Because whenever these sort of incidents happens and the stock goes up and everything goes up and all of these other resources go up, before it even touches Latin America, and I say Latin America, not just Belize, we already see that our prices go higher because we import everything, right? But before we even get stuck, we already see that the price changed from a shilling to 50 cents.
Right.
And so that there of managing price gouging, we still haven't figured out a way to do that, right? Our policies, there's no sort of legislation in place to be able to assist the consumer. So until we get that figured out, we always have this problem.
My good friend, Paris Ford Codd, would toot his own horn and said that why I would work on the competition law, where we may talk about the other day.
I need to see it, Paris Ford. I need to see it come to light. I'm challenging you for that.
Well, that's the conversation surrounding fuel, and some of the conversations we'll
and maybe that's why the busman brought down Plan the Hill, Paul.
Well,
you know,
that more than just fuel, April. We're still working to verify whether it's a part of the National Bus Company fleet, the new fleet that they've taken on. From my understanding, it is. I stand to be corrected, but it reveals a huge issue with the National Bus Company, and more so the types of buses we have on the road, because this is just a reflection of the type of buses we have on the road and the type of buses we have in that now newly acquired fleet, if you would, that's all come together on the National Bus Company. They are buses that are old buses were easy for broke down and were outdated,
you know
and
where
with
that
a lot
hill
of
is?
mechanical issues. I don't know where this hill is.
So this hill is, you know where Berta's Tamales is that? Okay, this is like, Berta's Tamales is at the bottom of that
so this
hill.
is coming into
That is coming into Belmont. Yeah, this is by St. Margaret's. But
so while the vision is clear and the vision is a good one and it's a commendable one, also what the National Bus Company has taken on, they've taken on a lot of buses with a lot of mechanical issues, and you have to wonder if the monies that they want to use to purchase new buses, if they'll spend a lot of time and to do administrative work, if they'll spend a lot of time and a lot of that resources upkeeping and fixing these buses to ensure that they're roadworthy, at least for the interim.
You know, I hear it, Paul, and unfortunately, I don't know about you guys, but I've done this before. I've had to come out.
You've had to?
Of course. Listen. So listen, I've been on a bus where it exploded. I've been on a bus that caught on fire. I've been on a bus where I've had to come off and walk up a hill because it just can't pull the weight. And that where it can't pull the weight normally happens because you have way too many people in the bus and standees. You're putting more onto a bus that already know to work good, and you're adding more weight to it, and that's why it couldn't make it up that hill, because that's a very steep hill. I feel very sorry for those commuters that had to walk up that hill.
Of course, this is unfair to any commuter, and if that me ask back for some of my money, even though you give me all the exercise where I expect for the day.
if there is anybody from that bus that got their money back, please let me know, because I have never had an incident where if the bus exploded, I get back my money.
Yeah.
I still had to figure it out and get on another bus. So these are issues that I feel have been taking place. Let's hope that the National Bus Company can sort itself out and get new fleets quickly. And lastly, Paul, because we're slowly getting down to the wire, protests erupt in Cuba at U.S. restrictions deepen food and energy crisis. So we all know that there's still a blockade on Cuba. Cuba relied very heavily on oil from Venezuela, which is now sanctioned by the United States after the kidnapping of President Maduro.
There's a lot of murmuring going around and concerns from people that are highly respected in the society. Concerns from people that see Cuba and Cuban doctors as friends. Concerns, we've seen the leader of the opposition comments on social media, but even beyond that, other highly respected persons are very concerned and cautious, and even concerned and cautious that Belize will fold under the United States pressure. The Prime Minister, we've been trying to get the Prime Minister to comment on this issue since his budget presentation last week, Tuesday. He declined to comment last week, Tuesday.
I know, I saw that.
I got him on the phone Friday. And again, he declined to comment on the issue. He said that there are negotiations, that the negotiations are sensitive. And when I asked him who are part of these negotiations, he declined to comment. My understanding is that the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs are a part of these discussions to determine what will happen with the Cuban doctors. We've seen across the region where, like Jamaica, for example, has severed ties. We see in Guyana, but I think in Guyana, based on my understanding, it's the Cuban doctors that have made the decision to part ways, in a sense. In Ecuador, they were forced out, and of course, under U.S. pressure. And so there is this concern and strong belief that Belize will fold under pressure, and there is nothing at this point in time to say otherwise, because the Brazilian administration has been silent on this issue. They're tiptoeing around the issue. They're being very cautious, and while I understand, because at the end of the day, you don't want to upset the mighty US of A, you want to stay on their good side, especially this current president. I understand that. But at the same time, the Cubans, they have done so much for us in Belize in terms of their medical contributions. We really have to look at this one closely, and it's something we'll be following.
So I had the absolute pleasure of sitting down last week at the Belize Policy Research Institute at UB, where we had a guest speaker by the name of Otto Bernardino Marrero Nunez, and he is Cuban. He is 83 years old, and so he lived through the revolution. He lived through the countless wars within Cuba and the United States, and he focused a lot on Cuba being a model society, and he discussed so many of the assistance that Cuba has done, not just for Belize, but for the world.
Yeah, correct.
Not just by giving us doctors, but there was so many other resources, there's so many other education that Cuba has given to the rest of the world. And hearing him speak, Paul, I felt guilty, because not just as a Belizean, but just as a global citizen, I felt guilty that we have benefited so much from Cuba, and this other country has blocked sanctions and basically stifling this country, and all of us are just sitting here and watching it happen.
April.
And that country has done so much for everybody. It makes you feel almost like, how can we stand back, like, fake friends, you stand back and just watch your next friend get bullied by somebody else because that next friend got money.
Well,
and
if
so
you
we're
know-
just here being a fake friend.
But why you want jump in far when you know if you jump in, you want take your lick too?
Because that other friend has done more for you.
So just two of them get beat up together.
Yes,
At least
because
when they
you
fall
are
together.
here trying to say we stand with Cuba, but we don't say anything. And we constantly do this as a nation where we're trying so hard to be neutral because we're under the thumb of another superpower where we import resources from. But I don't think that the rest of the world understands that if we all band together, we don't have to rely so much on that superpower, right? But we have to come to a close.
Just to say this in closing, 250 medical practitioners from Cuba, based on the data I received last week, are currently in Belize.
Yeah.
If those individuals are to leave in the face of a health system that has already been facing HR shortage when it comes to nurses and doctors,
we
what
screwed, Paul.
will happen to our very vulnerable healthcare system?
Yeah.
That's also a conversation that needs to happen, and I think that's why the negotiations are happening. If they leave, who fills those spaces? And that's more of a medium-term, long-term solution, but it requires an immediate solution
And
if that is
we
to
do
happen.
have the medical person. We do have Belizean medical personnel, but guess where they are? Not in Belize.
Yeah.
So
They
we
don't
have
feel
to
like they get
figure
paid what
that
they
out,
deserve.
right? All right,
Anyways.
we are going to be coming. This was a very good conversation,
Yes, it
Paul.
was.
Thank you all so much for engaging in the comments section below. If there are any topics that you would like for us to discuss, let us know. We are going to go into our Eye on the Weather, brought to you by the folks at the National Meteorological Service of Belize.
All right, so we're going from heated conversation to a heated day, a heated weather, if you would. According to today's forecast, it's going to be mostly sunny skies today. Tonight's skies will be partly clouded. There'll be little to no rains expected, so except for the chance of isolated thunderstorms developing over inland areas during the afternoon or evening hours. So a lot of information to take in. Basically, it was sunny most days, most of the day, and some parts of the day rain, and some parts of the day no rain. Yeah, just taking this information, we want to good for that. Today's temperatures along the coast is 87 degrees Fahrenheit on the higher end and 80 degrees Fahrenheit on the lower end. Inland is 94 degrees. Man, we're up in temperature inland. We're peaking, we're passing 90 degrees and we're going to the 100 degree, but it's that time of the year anyways. 70 degrees on the lower end. In the hills, we're looking at 84 on the higher end and 65 on the lower end. Again, all signals, it's going to be a hot day. Extended forecast, Tuesday, 83 degrees along the coast, 87 degrees inland. That's what we showed you moments ago. And then on Wednesday, let's look at along the coast, 82 degrees and 84 inland. So that temperature drops a bit. And then again, it tapers off a bit on Thursday, 81 degrees along the coast and 83 inland. And then on Friday, we're looking at a similar thing, 81 degrees and 83 inland. Friday, I know, Friday feel like it's very far away, and I don't blame you. I feel the very same way. It's just Monday, but we're going to get there, and we're going to give you an update if anything changes as we get closer to the weekend. In terms of our marine conditions, sea state is choppy. I was along the sea, the coast yesterday, as I mentioned earlier, and yes, it was very choppy. The winds is blowing from the east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots. The tides, today's high is going to be at 8:45 a.m. and then a low at 2:21 p.m. That's this afternoon, and then we have another high later on tonight at 8:32 p.m. and then we have a low at 3:20 a.m. But you shouldn't be up at that time unless you're not a fisherman. We're going out on a boat, and so that applies to you. The astronomical forecast: the sun rose this morning at 5:59. That was exactly an hour ago, and it's going to set at 6:02 p.m. Then the moon sets later on at 5:05 p.m. and the moon is going to rise tomorrow at 4:58 a.m. And that does it for our weather update this morning, courtesy our friends at the National Meteorological Service of Belize. April, back to you.
Wonderful job, Paul. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll be breaking down the 2026 budget. You don't want to miss that conversation? We'll be right back.
In the heart of the Kaya district, Calico Jacks is proving that sustainability and success can go hand in hand.
When Calico Jacks wanted to move to solar energy, the biggest difficulty for us was the finance. Belize Bank believed in our vision, and we are very happy and grateful that they gave us this opportunity for the financing.
Through the Credit Risk Abatement Facility, a partnership between Belize Bank and the CARICOM Development Fund, small and medium businesses can access financing for renewable and energy-efficient solutions with reduced collateral requirements.
Here at SCSB, we're grateful for Belize Bank to make it easy for our clients to go green. We're proud to work with businesses like Calico Jacks to help them lower their costs and their carbon footprint.
At Belize Bank, we are powering Belize's transition to renewable energy, one business at a time. Together with our partners, we're making sustainable financing accessible for all.
Belize Bank, financing a greener, stronger Belize.
Finally, a postpaid plan for 3 people. Introducing Smart Trio. Why pay for mobile service alone when you can share and save? Get unlimited national calls, texts, plus 100 gigabytes of shared data. And the best part? It's only $135. That's right, as low as $45 per person. Perfect for small families, couples, or close friends. Smart Trio, 3 lines, 1 smart choice. Sign up now and you could win a Trio getaway to San Pedro for 3. Visit us at www.smart-bz.com for more information or sign up at any showroom today. Smart, bringing people together.
GBM is turning the spotlight home. All Belizean, all day, every day. We're bringing to you more local and regional programs than ever before. Relive the classics you love. Plus, enjoy brand new stories that celebrates who we are, our people, our pride, our Belize. So whether you're at home, in the office, or on the go, keep GBM on, because now more than ever, Belize is on TV.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes, and we are breaking down the 2026 Belize budget with economist Rumil Arana. Good morning. Good morning, Rumil. How's it going?
Oh, it's fine.
What's the numbers looking like?
Oh, as always, I was just catching up on some numbers for Belize, as you know, people really don't understand it, but you always want to break it down in terms of how simplistic you could get to the analysis.
Yeah.
So, the Belizean budget is just like anybody else's budget.
Right.
You have your revenue, you have your expenditure, and if you're spending more than you're making, you have to borrow. So when it comes to government and central government, they have their revenue sources, which is taxation. They spend on different things, which the majority of that is salaries. They spend on pensions, they spend on debt service and all of that. And if that spending is more than the revenue intake, then they have to take what we call domestic or external debt. Right?
So I have a question
Simple
about
as
that, because that's like any other company, right, where you have to
Everyone.
make sure that you're building a profit in order to pay your workers and in order to pay pension and so forth, right? But, and you're saying that it's through taxation that the government builds most of its revenue.
Definitely.
So what is the debt to GDP? How do you explain that in the most layman of terms? Because we always have a high percentage of debt to GDP. So for much as we make tax, which is mostly coming from the middle class, and from fuel prices and from these other commodities, how is it that we still have such a high debt to GDP?
Well, actually, what happened a few years ago, the thing is there are several measures that you could look at, right? I believe since Belize became independent, we've only ran a budget surplus about 3 times for the year. So we're always spending more than we bring in from the revenue side. It's a little bit, I don't like it from a strictly financial perspective, but when you're thinking about what the government has to do, our Prime Minister mentioned it in his budget speech, they employ over 15,000 people. You know, so our government has almost like a dual role within our economy. They have to contribute to the workforce as much as they can. So that may be a contributor. Well, it is one of the main contributors. But what we're looking at overall is, I just explained it. Every year we're spending more than we make.
Yeah.
So that means our national debt is going up.
Because you have to borrow
to take care of the remaining expenditures. So, but the thing is now, there is debt and then there is GDP.
Yes.
So GDP is what you produce.
Not only as a government, right, but as a country.
For the country as a whole. So the orange farmers, the sugarcane farmers, the electricity production, construction, the nightclub owners, whatever. The GDP is a composite measure of what they produce. What happened a few years ago, I think it was 2020 or 2021, we had a restructuring of our GDP. So our GDP didn't include some of our productive sectors. So our GDP went up by about $1 billion. So at that time, so again, your debt to GDP ratio, what we're borrowing, what we're producing. So at that time, when the GDP went up, that caused the ratio itself to go down because the denominator is now got higher. Right? So, and along with that, you had the restructuring of the super bond, which had been in our vernacular for about a decade. That was restructured to a blue loan. And then they took off a little bit off the top of that. So I think we had like about a 20 to 30% savings on that. So that also contributed to a reduction in the debt to GDP ratio. So as I said, you have your debt at the top and what you produce at the bottom. So because of that, you had the debt going down a little bit, you had the GDP increasing, and you had a reduction in our debt to GDP ratio.
If I'm not mistaken, based on what the Prime Minister is saying, we have $4 billion, and this is a very complex issue.
$4 billion in debt.
We have $4 billion in debt, but he said that we are expected to produce $7 billion in GDP. $7.4 billion in GDP. So is that to say then that our GDP is higher than our debt?
Our GDP is higher than our debt. At one, like I said, around 2020, we were at a point where our debt was a little bit, I believe it was about 116%. It was a little bit higher than our local production. So again, the top of the fraction was higher than the bottom. But again, what happened was, like I told you, that phenomena, and it happens all the time. People, our GDP before that was constructed in like around 1991. So there was a lot of elements of our production that wasn't included. So that's why they had to revise that number, and that revised number went up. So that helped us in terms of our debt to GDP ratio.
But then,
Personally, I don't like the debt to GDP ratio as a measure. I want to ensure that our nominal debt, which is the amount that we borrow, is going down.
Yeah.
But the debt to GDP ratio is used
The
a
more
lot.
you, the
because
more you
even
owe.
with the debt to GDP ratio, I think it starts to, in my mind, a signal that, all right, if we did make $7 billion in a GDP, why can't we pay off this $4 billion?
No.
But then that not from the GDP, you pay off the debt. The debt
so that's a different thing, right? So GDP is our local production. All right, how we pay off our debt is from the government revenue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we have a debt of around $4 billion, and we have I believe that the number for our revenues and
1.5?
grants is about 1 point. It was last year, this fiscal year that's coming to an end is projected to be about 1.7 billion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
That
we don't-
including tax revenue and non-tax revenue.
Yes, sir.
But we don't make enough revenue to to pay off our debts
No.
because that revenue goes back to whatever the country needs to be funded,
Yeah,
right?
so that's where we come back to the budget, all right?
Yes,
So
let's
in
go
terms
back to
of the revenue side, we have our, again, these conversations will go on because I might spark another topic here, but on the revenue side, we have our tax revenue, which makes up probably about 80 to 90% of our total revenues. Our non-tax revenue is kind of small. Our tax revenue is the GSTs of the world, the excise taxes, import duties,
Income.
and income tax and business tax. So those are 5 of the largest categories that I just mentioned there. There are taxes on consumption, which is the biggest part of our taxation take, and then there's taxes on production, which is the business tax and the PAYE and stuff like that. There's always that discussion as to which one is better, which one is more efficient. From our perspective, we need it all.
Yeah.
You know, so because again, we need to support those individuals, that the 15,000 individuals and the government services
How
that are
common
provided.
is it for countries to rely heavily on taxation to fund its
Taxes
budget?
are good.
No. It's always what I'm describing for Belize is not
Novel?
It's not a unique case. There are situations where we spoke about the debt to GDP ratio, where countries had like 160% of their GDP in terms of debt. So we're not at a bad place right now at 65. That is very good. And there's a lot of countries that run budget deficits every year. So again, they're spending more than they're making. But the taxation part, most countries have a similar look. They would be the biggest part of their taxes would be the tax on the consumption and taxes on their production. Those are always the biggest parts, and their tax to non-tax revenues looks pretty much similar. So it's not a unique case, but that is what we're looking at. So next year, we're projected to have about $1.8 billion in revenues, and again, the majority of that is taxes from on goods and services, so the consumption taxes. Again, there's always that debate. Consumption taxes are seen as more regressive. A regressive tax means that the lower your income bracket, the higher the tax you pay. A progressive tax now, which is like the income tax and the business tax, means the higher the amount you make, the more you're taxed.
Yep.
So there's always that conversation, but like I said, the government of Belize needs all of it to provide the services that they do. Who's going to keep the lights on? Who's going to provide the health care? Who's going to do all of these things? Because again, there's no private sector entity that's doing it.
Yes, I agree, but I wanted to talk a little bit back about prioritization of certain parts of the budget, because you're telling us that this budget is being based on how much the government is making, right? How much revenue is being built. But we see that a lot of the budget goes towards things like free education and free healthcare, right? So explain to us a little bit about prioritizing certain funds in different spaces.
I'm not going to lie. That's very touchy, and everybody everybody has their own views on where it's supposed to go. By nature, I'm an economist. I just look at numbers and I try to see what the numbers are telling me. But the idea, government for me should be providing the services that they do. All right. Free education is good for any population.
Agreed.
That's called investing in your human capital. So if it's free education that we're investing for, I'm 100% for it, because you could help individuals to get to a point where they may be able to get higher education, and the more educated your populace is, the higher the level of jobs that you have within your economy, the higher earning these individuals will be, right? So you're going to, for me and in economic history, investing in human capital is the sure way to get your economy to go on an upward path. So that is very fine for me. Our budget itself has always been it's been heavy on paying salaries and pension, and it's been heavy on debt service.
Yes.
I think right now we have a projected budget of about $1.9 billion, and out of that, I think about 50%, I think the Prime Minister mentioned it in his speech, around 50 to 55% is for, again, salaries and pensions and debt service. So that's like saying, every dollar I make, 50% of it just gets skims off the top. So you have probably about 40-45% to spend on the other services that the government needs to provide. So you see how tight that squeeze is. So even when you go to the bank to get a loan, if you have about 40% of your salary wrapped up in other loans, you can't get another loan from the bank because it's a little bit tight. So it's always good to have for me, and I know it's a touchy subject because, like, when we're speaking about the public servants and them getting their raise and all of that, people will want to attack and say the government should do those things. But if you are spending just on salaries and debt, immediately you are shorting yourself for whatever else you have to do. And what our economy always needs, including the services that we provided in education and healthcare, we need transformative activities. We need activities to change the way things are done. And if you read the budget speech from the Prime Minister, he speaks to that. One of the ways one of things that they're investing in right now that I believe will do some good is the e-services, because, man, we are in 2026. Like, you don't need a driver to drive from Corozal to Belmopan to deliver something, or so, like the soft copies and all of these things. I mean, just the amount of money spent on paper every year, like you'd be shocked to see those figures are up in like the millions. So we need transformative activities, right? So the budget itself, I will never complain, because, like I said, we have to provide for our public servants. They help the country so much, but we need to find a way to do things a little bit better.
Help us understand the reliance, further understand the reliance on tax in the context of the conversation about fuel prices, but more so about the taxes on fuel prices, because what I'm hearing you say is that we rely on taxes to get these things done, right? And so that is to say then that as citizens, we have a stake in the game. When we pay taxes, we're essentially funding the government's budget. But at the same time, we're also having conversations about certain things being too high in cost, like fuel, for example.
I never want to pay taxes. Like I pick up my I pick up my
Same.
pay slip and I look at it and I'm
I get
like,
depressed.
man.
Yeah,
I get
especially.
But then I walk outside and I see the lights that are on, and my son could play his basketball outside outside of the house, and you know they have although people don't like it, we have the services that the government provides, the police and all of that, everything, the health care, which is free for a lot of people, the education, which is being pushed out as there more of our Belizean populace is getting free education right now. You know, it does make a difference. However, again, there are those conversations when we're looking at the specific gas situation that just took place over the weekend, I believe. There's three parts to every price. There's the import prices, there's the government tax, and there is the profits made by the businesses that are selling the gasoline. So if there is an expansion in any one of those, then there is going to be an increase in terms of the prices at the pump, right? Because that's made up of those three things. What's happening right now and what people need to be cognizant of is what's going on in terms of the geopolitical tensions between Israel and Iran. Those things, our case is not a unique case, as I have been saying, when it comes to government and all of that. The gas prices in America have been going up week after week. We have gone through our first race because we have to purchase the gasoline from America as well. So if those prices are going up and up and up, that means the import price that is being paid is going up. So that's why you're going to see an upward adjustment in prices. Right? That's what's going on right there. I haven't seen the numbers, and those numbers, you could request them from the Ministry of Finance, but I am not aware of the government increasing its tax.
How much does
taxation.
the government collect on tax for gas, for fuel?
The thing is, there's a few different parts. The numbers aren't directly here in my head right now, and that's within the budget. That would be in terms of some of the taxes on international trade and transactions. So that's the third largest. That's the third largest component of taxes for us. But I'm not. The numbers aren't directly within my head, because when you're looking at international trade, that's all of the transaction. But that's a lot of it has to do with gasoline. But I'm not 100% sure.
I think that one of our biggest concerns is because we are a huge importing state, but we don't have any sort of legislation or policy that mediates or evaluates or monitors price gouging in the country. And so we often see, like, while we can talk about the fluctuation of taxes on fuel, we also see increase in certain goods that rapidly go up before the gas prices even go up.
No,
and there is no sort of evaluation to say, no, you can't do this, or there is no sort of tax that goes up, or tariff that goes up every month or so. And that doesn't help us to alleviate the pressure when it comes to buying or purchasing goods from different spaces.
In truth, I spoke about how much the government spends on salaries, but I'm not going to lie. If you go to almost every government office, they're going to tell you that they're understaffed and underfunded.
Yeah.
But
it's because they can't afford things.
Again, like I said, that was back to, again, the government is doing a good welfare job in terms of providing for salaries. But like I said, salaries and debt is about 50% of every dollar that they collect. I believe that was the number. So when you're looking at that, they can't fund a lot of these agencies. When we're looking at, I think those activities should fall under like the Bureau of Standards. But the Bureau of Standards, I can't tell you what their staff complement is, but I can tell you that the staff complement is small, is very small, and they don't receive a large percentage of the budget because there's pressures for that spending elsewhere. There's pressures for those spending in education and healthcare. That's the primary thing that you'd want to provide. But like I said, it's kind of difficult when 50 cents out of every dollar has to be devoted to salaries and debt already. So you have that 40% that you have to play with for everything else, and everybody would think that what they're doing is priority.
As we wrap up, bottom line, this is sufficient. This budget is sufficient for 2026 going into 2027.
We've had our budget estimates in terms of spending going up from a year-to-year basis. A part of it has to do with pressures placed on the government to provide different services. So I will never be a fan of the government saying that we are spending more than we're making. But within what the government is doing, it's a necessity for us. It helps a lot of families put food on their tables. And again, the services that the government provides, even though some people might complain about the services, they have it. A lot of countries, there are places where you can't go access the health care like that. You can't access the education system and all. So I, for one, would be more satisfied when the government says, okay, the overall deficit, which is again expenditure minus revenues, is a little bit less than $110 million.
Okay.
That's because that's our overall deficit right now projected for the new fiscal year. So when the government comes to me and said, okay, our overall deficit is about $5 million, I would smile a little bit more.
Of course.
But so that means that we could do a little bit in terms of shaving down our debts. And the one thing that everybody has to understand is that when we have debt, we are going to have to be the one that pays for it. It's either going to be us or our children.
Correct. Well,
thank you so much for joining us. I know we spoke with the budget on a macro level. We never even touched micro spaces, and I really hope that you would come back so that we could talk a little bit more about that. But Ramil, always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Conversations can go on forever.
All right.
I love being
especially
here.
money.
Especially when it comes to numbers and money.
Definitely.
But we do got to take a quick break. And when we return, we have a new segment for you. It's all about surgical outreach to the Americas. You don't want to miss that. We'll be right back.
Fulltech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Fulltech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy 8. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
Habet and Abet and Brothers Abet, we've always proudly celebrated Women's Month. This year, we celebrate women keeping the balance at home, at work, and in their communities. That's why all March long, all women receive 15% off store-wide, from paints to plumbing and everything in between. Plus 30 to 65% off lots more deals on sale and clearance. With trusted experience, top quality products, and service that's second to none, we're here to support women every step of the way. Visit or call us today. Happy Women's Month from all of us at Habet and Abet and Brothers Abet, doing our part to balance the scales.
Man, that's me. My data done, and I really need to get my order out today.
Really? Well, you can join our Smart Group plan.
Really? How that work?
Easy, let me tell you.
Whether it's family, friends, or your small business, we've got the perfect plan for every group. More members equals more savings, more connections. Smart group plans bring the connectivity you love to you and your circle. No one gets left behind. Explore Share One package option and add on unlimited data, calls, and SMS for the entire group for less than $50 per member. Visit any Smart showroom countrywide or email sales@speednet-wireless.com to sign up today. Smart, bringing people together.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned. This is our second conversation for this morning, and we have joining us on set Dr. Gregory Arana, and he's a Belizean physician and surgeon. Dr. Arana, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. It's such a pleasure to be here.
No, it's a pleasure having you.
Yes.
So that's a bit behind the scene conversation led me to understand that you've been operating out of Fort Lauderdale.
Yes.
For the good part of the last 2 decades.
Yes, almost 20 years now.
Almost 20 years
now.
now.
Since I left Belize to the States. Yeah.
You've been in Fort Lauderdale practicing, but you haven't forgotten Belize.
Oh no.
Right?
Belize, born Belizean.
Born Belizean.
So Belize is often on my mind.
Exactly. And a part of your giving back, if you would, to Belize comes by way of sofa.
That's
and I mean
right.
a sofa set.
Right, not the sofa we're sitting on.
Yes,
The
not
surgical. It stands for Surgical Outreach for the Americas.
Surgical Outreach for the Americas. Tell us a bit about
yes.
SOFA.
So just by coincidence, one of the surgeons that I work with in Baptist Health, which is the group that I'm with in Miami, he asked me if I knew anything about PG. And I'm like, what?
Of all the places.
Of all the places, both my parents were born in PG.
Oh, wow.
You know, so this conversation happened about a year ago. So I'm like, whatever you need, I'm in, right? And then I found out that this organization has so far done 150 surgeries, hernia repairs. Wow. So they come in, they bring the equipment, they ship the container, they have everything. They bring a whole team, and they take their vacation, right? And they use it to do these surgeries to help the Belizean people.
Free of
PG.
cost.
Free of cost, yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not, they didn't get hardly any publicity, so most people don't know that this has happened.
Wow.
So
It's amazing. It's an amazing amount of work that they've done.
This is an annual occurrence.
Yeah, annual. And last year they came two times. You know, I was here with them in January last year, and then they came back in October, and they did about 50 surgeries again.
Wow. And you guys are based within PG Town.
Well, they do work all over the region: Honduras, El Salvador, Dominican Republic, and so they're amazing. They're doing work all over the region, but they chose PG in Belize.
Yeah.
And so I came on board about a year ago because they wanted to help elevate the level of surgery in Belize.
Wow.
Yeah, this team is from Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri. And so they are very influential, and they got this corporation called Stryker Corporation to donate 3 laparoscopic towers for laparoscopy surgery.
Right.
No,
so that's the second part of the
Yes.
giving back. The
Yes,
first
yes,
part,
yes.
as I understand it, is they come in on at on a week's period.
In 1 week.
One week they come in for at different times of the year. Like last year they came in 2 times. So they don't have a permanent presence per se. It's a mission.
No, it's a mission. Yeah.
And they've been giving back free of their time, their expertise, to Belizeans in PG.
Yes.
And so now.
So the reason why I'd like to highlight the reason why they choose to do hernias is because if you think about it, somebody that has a hernia, either in their belly button or in their groin, right? They can't work. When they lift something heavy, they strain and it swells up. It's painful. And so they come and they do open hernias and they repair some hernias and the patient goes home after recovery. And they can then, contribute back to the work or whatever they do. Most of them are farmers or whatever it is, and
especially in the south.
You made mention of contribution as well. I can't remember the words. A very big
laparoscopy.
Laparoscopic towers.
Yes. So let me explain that part of it. For the past 20 years, surgery has moved from large open cuts to what is called minimally invasive. Right? So it's small little cuts, like less than an inch on for example, the main surgery that is done laparoscopically is gallbladder surgery. So what had happened with our team, Peggy Frisella heads the team. I'd like to mention her because the way that when we publicize these things, they get their donors in the States to be able to give more because they see the impact that they're making in the different countries. Yeah. But she's head of a training unit at Washington University in St. Louis. And so when they were here doing these surgeries in PG, people were asking, can you do gallbladder? Can you do gallbladder? So they looked at the situation in the South and saw that there was no laparoscopy surgery anywhere in the South, not even at Southern Regional. So she prevailed upon Stryker Corporation, and thank you, Stryker. They donated 3 laparoscopic towers. So with laparoscopy, what we do every day is that to take out an appendix, 3 little cuts on the abdomen, and the patient recovers much quicker. There's no big incision, right? So the surgery can be done if it's simple, between 15 to 20 minutes, all right? And where normally, like for example with the gallbladder, if it's if you have to cut open, all the surgeries in Belmopan and in Dangriga, they have to cut you open to take out the gallbladder, and it'll take you weeks to recover. Very painful, etc. With a laparoscopic surgery on a simple gallbladder, we can get that done if it's simple and the surgeon is skilled within 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and then the patient can maybe go home the next day.
Wow.
Some patients, if it's completely simple, they may go home the following day, where it might take weeks to recover.
So this is an advancement.
Right.
It's an advancement of surgery. Yes.
So this outreach. So they've already come. They've gone, or are you?
Yeah, the towers were shipped to Belmopan. They're at the Ministry of Health. They were shipped to Belmopan last year, September.
Okay.
Right, but there are other things that we need to get the service up and running. So later after this interview, I'm going to go to Belmopan and I'm going to meet with the CEO and I'm going to set up the tower and try and get the one at Belmopan going. One of the other towers is slated to go to Southern Regional to help their service there. And I had advised the donor team that Carl Huchner does the most laparoscopic surgeries in Belize, in the country of Belize, for the public service, right? So
they have a machine. They have a tower at KHMH.
They do, but I spoke to Dr. Koi, who is a mentor and a classmate of mine, and he told me that they have some equipment that they got from China, and they have trouble sourcing the parts for it. Yeah. No. So I think it could be a big benefit,
of course,
because Carl Huchner serves such a large population. If we could help them out with one of these towers. These towers are Stryker 1288.
How costly are they?
Retail. Those towers are like 25,000 US each, right? And they were donated free of cost by Stryker. But if when you mention cost, in the US, surgery is extremely expensive.
Yes.
Right. So if you think about the 150 hernia repairs that were done free of cost, and you think about $1,000 each, you know, 1,000 US each value, that's a small amount, because a simple procedure in the US in an emergency room, they're charging you $10,000 just for a simple procedure. So if you think about it, that's like 150,000 to $500,000 US dollars worth of free, you know, free service. So that's why I'm here to highlight what's been happening.
And so the missionary group,
Yes.
they're still here.
No, they only come for like a week at a
short
time.
period of time.
The reason that Peggy asked me to do this is because they don't have the time. Like, she's in somewhere, Hong Kong. She was in Hong Kong, and so these are very busy people.
And
you know?
are they still looking to come back anytime soon?
Their
year?
next trip is going to be October.
Okay, so people in PG should look out for them in October.
In October, yes.
All right,
yes,
wonderful.
Yes,
Well, we'd love for you to come back before, so that we can remind our viewers and remind persons that this is
bring
happening,
them on.
or bring them on.
Yes.
That way that you can, you know, get the word out, because this is incredible work that you all are doing.
Yes,
Congratulations,
thank
and
you.
thank you all so much.
Yes, indeed.
All right. We got to take a quick break, Paul. And when we come back, we are going to go into unlocking power through brain awareness. So we're still sticking to the health topic and focusing more on the neurology of it all. We'll be right back.
Get your body sculpted with gym equipment and accessories from Belize. Quality and savings.
The future is calling. Belize Bank. Your future, our commitment.
Look here, your kitchen light there, and never been in the kitchen.
Mama going back in there right now.
And the coffee maker,
Just to try keep my coffee warm for later.
where do you know?
I'll try to think more to eat.
You know, the more you open or close the fridge, it takes longer for the food cool. For a hot day like today, it burns more energy. You charge your phone right now?
No.
Plug it out then. You really only wash 2 Lee socks and 1 Lee shirt? You don't know what small load burn the same amount of electricity as large loads?
But this is my favorite shirt.
You have to be more energy efficient. Use large loads. This AC, they blow hard. You know, if you keep the temperature at 25 degrees Celsius or higher, you burn less energy and you also keep the place cool. And for a nice day like today, turn off the AC, open up the house and make some fresh breeze come in.
You know what? I think I get it now. As consumers, we need to be more energy efficient and practice energy conservation.
What happens when you step off the edge?
Too late to back out now. He said I'm ready. No, I'm not.
And land somewhere unexpected. Sometimes it breaks you open. Wild at root,
That is very bitter.
but sweet on the tongue. Where history calls out, and you answer with open arms. This isn't just a journey, it's across borders.
That was amazing!
The future is calling. Belize Bank. Your future, our commitment.
Haven't updated your information recently? Well, kick off the new year as a winner. RF&G Insurance is giving you a free chance to win every month. Entering is easy. Just chat with us on WhatsApp and update your information. That's it. You'll be automatically entered into our monthly raffle for a chance to win awesome prizes. Don't wait. Message us on WhatsApp and update your info today. RF&G Insurance. It pays to get it right.
Galenia Hospital, located in Cancun, Mexico's premier tourism destination, is a state-of-the-art healthcare facility that provides highly specialized medical services. We are Quintana Roo's biggest private hospital with board-certified doctors and staff. Some of our services include cath lab, adult intensive care unit, neonatal intensive care unit, emergency rooms, operating theaters, ambulance services, and more. We are a medically accredited hospital by JCI, Accreditation Canada International, and General Health Council, providing extraordinary care in every specialty, from our cardiology department to our neurology center. We are focused on treating the entire person, body, mind, and spirit. Contact us at medicaltourism@hospitalgalenia.com or visit our website at www.hospitalgalenia.com. Come to Galenia Hospital in Cancun for a truly personal medical care experience.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes, and joining us for our third conversation. It's all about Brain Awareness Week. And here to talk to us about it is the founder and ambassador for Belize Brain Awareness Society, Ms. Kalia Nunes. Good morning.
Morning. Good
With
morning.
her, she has brought Jose Suarez, and he is a teacher of Our Lady of the Way RC School, and we're going to talk about how he fits into this conversation in a bit. And Dr. Marco Tulio Mendez, he is a pediatrician and a neurologist. Yes? Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
So it's all about brain awareness, and I know that you all have some wonderful activities lined up, but before we get into the activity, Dr. Mendez, let's talk about the state of persons understanding brain awareness and neurology in Belize. And you're a specialized doctor, so you deal with the mind, you deal with brain health. Let's go into that.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Really, well, brain awareness is a week that around the world is whereby certain topics are brought up so that the people could be engaged and know about the changes that is going through. For example, right now, the digital area. Okay, this is a really touchy subject when it comes to how it affects children, how it's going to affect us afterwards. Okay, so it's kind of a way of making people aware that there are certain changes as we go through, and that we have to be definitely thinking how it could be something positive or negative in our mind. Children are born with more or less 100 billion neurons. That is 100 billion. Wow. And as we get older, those decrease. More or less between 3 to 5 years, that is where the connectivity within the brain cells start to occur. Because at the beginning, children walk, and then they start to talk. Mm-hmm. At the age of 2 years, children are supposed to say more or less about 40 words. But afterwards, they start to understand much better, and then they start to write. Okay, so it is a process that the brain goes through, and nowadays it is important. It is taking us. We need to be aware of what we are receiving, the information that we are receiving, the types of information that we are receiving, how to preserve it and then not to lose it, because afterwards the dementia starts. Well, some people are predisposed towards that. So those are two big groups, I would say. The information that we are receiving, that we are in a total different world now. So it is very important what our children are, the information that they're going to receive.
I want to go back to that, the digital age and the exposure that children have today now more than ever. But before I go there, and then its impact on your brains, but before I go there, I want to bring Ms. Keller into the conversation just to share a bit about Brain Awareness Week from the perspective of your organization and how you all are pushing this movement.
Okay, when it comes to Brain Awareness Week, as Dr. Marco Tulio Mendez rightfully said, it's an international week. This is hosted by the Dana Foundation of New York. So it's an awareness week pertaining to neurology in over 600 places in the world that we come together and we make sure that everyone knows the importance of the brain. Are we actually taking care of it? How can we take care of it? So each year I look for different and new ways to bring out this awareness. Sometimes it's just information based. Sometimes it's from an adult angle. This time I'm now looking at it pertaining to schools. How can we make these children be more aware of the brain? As Dr. Marco rightfully said, that children have so many neurons when they're young. You know, do they really know the power of these neurons? Do they really understand what is taking place with their mind, body, soul, everything? And so that's the reason why we have schools that are now bringing out these awareness for this year in particular.
So what are the schools going to be doing?
Well, I will pass that on to Mr. Juarez. We have two schools that will be bringing it out. It is Grace Primary and Amara Avenue. And so we will be doing the inauguration ceremony there today. And then they're having activity all week, every day. And then we also have this school here that Mr. Juarez is at, Our Lady of the Way in Ladyville. And they will be also doing their activity on a daily basis to bring out awareness to these children as well.
Okay, what's that?
So this week we have an activity for each day, right? For today we're starting with Nutrition Day, where they'll be eating healthy snacks and healthy foods. Tomorrow we have Mental Health Awareness Day, right? Whereby we'll be doing different activities to educate the students more about the brain, how it works, and how to keep it healthy. On Wednesday, we have Art Day, whereby we'll be creating different arts. Our school will be creating some crowns, not to follow the theme, wearing your brain like a crown, and we'll be taking different photos and stuff. On Thursday, we have Literacy Day, so we'll be having different poems and skits and jingles to teach the kids more about the brain. And then on Friday, we have Energy Day. So we want to bring out the entire family and friends, and especially the staff, to get them involved with different exercises and so forth.
Lovely.
Yeah. One of the things, Doc, that stood out to me, well, let me just say this. I have a 1-year-old child going on 2, and it's almost impossible to avoid exposure to digital content, right? In my view, but
it's not easy.
Let me. What's your recommendation to parents?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. It's not easy. It's not easy really. Trying to avoid totally the media. No, the digital era has really caused such an evolution that even from very, very young age, it creates, it stimulates that addiction, okay? Because when the children start to see something that they like, that is like a drug, okay? So it creates that reciprocal feedback, and then they want it more, So we have to be very careful and try to stream them through. The first 2 years, it is stated that they are not supposed to have digital cellular.
2 years.
Okay,
Yeah, okay.
2 years. I mean, they could be seeing the television, very educational types of presentation, but then afterwards, yes, between 3 to 5 years, more or less, it is 1 hour per day, and on the weekends, one could allow them 2 hours. But of course, most of the time it was time limit. Now it has changed. Now it is the content.
Yeah.
Okay, the
Type of
content, the concepts that are provided there, and the language, because now the AI, as you know, you could be talking to them and they could be talking to you. So those are things that have changed, and we have seen cases have been reported where children would even suicide. Okay?
Yes.
Because it is so complex on how children, they would perceive it as real. Okay?
Yeah.
So we have to be very, very careful, and that's why I said that now it is with this new era, the information that is coming in, we have to be very careful at home.
Let me ask this question, Doc, because I'm trying to understand what it does to us. Because even as adults, we consume a lot of information at a time. There are this new generation of kids that bond with the information at their fingertips. They consume so much, and sometimes I'm having a conversation with a 14-year-old like if he's an adult, because he knows what's happening in the war in Iran, and he knows all of these different things, and then the questions that they ask are, I mean, it's very mature, but in my mind, you're not supposed to even be thinking about these things, right? So what does it do to the brain health of a child?
Those stages that they're supposed to go through, where they have more contacts, they could talk to the person and humanize everything, that starts to get lost. Just for example, you have seen it at home. Children, it is so easy for them to use this that at our age, it is still, come on, give me that. I'm going to use it for you, you know, because by using the thumb and the index finger, it starts to increase the brain cell, and it has been shown through functional MRIs how that brain cell, that area where it's using it and the visual, that increases. So that increase could also affect other areas of our brain, because this is being occupied by that new.
Let me ask you this next question, and I don't want to lose the topic, but this is very, very interesting, right? You have certain countries around the world that are now banning social media for teenagers under the age of, like, I think 15 or 16 or so forth, because of exactly this. Do you support this sort of policy?
Of course, of course. Of course, there are certain ways on how to provide information. And it is different from the time that we were reading. We used to imagine more things and imagine in a way that almost from that concept. But here, the visual, that visual distorts you from what you would imagine. The image that we are seeing here, it provides you a stronger. That's why the image now is very important to see what your child is seeing, because that is more powerful than just everything is just, and they do it so fast that it starts to get so distorted, and they start to be more hyper, and that is caused now that children with using it too much digital, they are hyperactive.
We gotta rein the question in for the sake
I
of
know,
time,
I know,
right?
but it's Brain Awareness Week, and it starts today.
I want to go back to Mr. Suarez, right? How do you see these activities throughout the course of the week, helping to educate and bring greater awareness among your students?
Well, they don't really teach these things in schools. And so by doing these fun and engaging activities, right, we do want to educate them more about the brain, like I mentioned, how it works, how to keep it healthy, right? And using the devices a lot in school. In my class, personally, I don't use much devices, right? Because that don't really make them think a lot, right? Like for writing stories and so forth, like Doctor mentioned. First, we had to imagine, right? And that makes us write better. Now it's hard for them to be creative with their writing, right? And so using this, we want to create healthy habits, right? So that they can work their brains more and they can think better.
So, and then Ms. Nunes, how can people get involved? Apart from the activities that are happening and perhaps even engage in the activities that are happening?
People can get involved by simply reaching out to myself, volunteering, doing basic stuff. I have also asked, even in the letters that I sent out, even if workplaces want to pick up any of the activities, even with tying themselves with any of these schools that are bringing out the awareness, they can actually get involved. We need more hands on deck to make sure that we are aware of the brain. I always want to say this, the brain, and there is something here in Belize that we need to bring this out more. We rarely have neurologists. That's something that we need to look at. What will happen if Dr. Marco Tulio is not here? You have also Dr. John Sosa. Belize would really have these people are very, very necessary. You know, they're a big part of our health system in Belize. You know, we need to also make people be aware of becoming more neurological surgeons, neurologists when they're going abroad to study to be in the medical field. We also need to bring out these awareness, because while we're looking a lot at diabetes and we look a lot at cancer, what about the most important part of the body that we deplete, we forget so often? It's sad. It's sad when most of the time, if you tell someone anything about the brain, you hear the person is crazy. You don't even get any other mindset, but people, the brain can hurt just like when you have a scratch or a tear or anything like that. It's the same thing. It's just that it's on the brain or with the brain.
Well, we
really need to educate people.
We know all too well about that with the rise of mental health conversations, which is taking its own course in society. And so we appreciate the work that you all are doing. I think that this is very transformative in the lives of our children, if nothing else. And so thank you all so much, especially you, Ms. Nunes, leading the charge and in terms of having these conversations. Ms. Nunes, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time this morning.
All right.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, sharing faith with the new generation. We'll be right back.
Smart for everybody. Smart leading everything. Smart give you everything. Smart offer everything. Smart give you everything. North to the east and the south and the west. Smart are the best. Darling, double up my data and give me all the text. In fact, give me a plan for my family. Unlimited calls, so me like it. And Smart make everybody feel happy. Bringing people together, me want it now. Smart got love for everybody. Me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. Me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. More bundles, data plan. Me want my smartphone, internet in my hand. Cause me want my Smart plan. Want it right now.
In the heart of the Kaya district, Calico Jacks is proving that sustainability and success can go hand in hand.
When Calico Jacks wanted to move to solar energy, the biggest difficulty for us was the finance. Belize Bank believed in our vision, and we are very happy and grateful that they gave us this opportunity for the financing.
Through the Credit Risk Abatement Facility, a partnership between Belize Bank and the CARICOM Development Fund, small and medium businesses can access financing for renewable and energy-efficient solutions with reduced collateral requirements.
Here at SCSB, we're grateful for Belize Bank to make it easy for our clients to go green. We're proud to work with businesses like Calico Jacks to help them lower their costs and their carbon footprint.
At Belize Bank, we are powering Belize's transition to renewable energy, one business at a time. Together with our partners, we're making sustainable financing accessible for all.
Belize Bank, financing a greener, stronger Belize.
Finally, a postpaid plan for 3 people. Introducing Smart Trio. Why pay for mobile service alone when you can share and save? Get unlimited national calls, text, plus 100 gigabytes of shared data. And the best part? It's only $135. That's right, as low as $45 per person. Perfect for small families, couples, or close friends. Smart Trio. 3 lines, 1 smart choice. Sign up now and you could win a Trio getaway to San Pedro for 3. Visit us at www.smart-bz.com for more information or sign up at any showroom today. Smart, bringing people together.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned with us. This is our 4th conversation for this morning.
We're zooming past these.
And this one is all about sharing faith with the next generation. We're joined by the National Director for the Child Evangelism Fellowship of Belize, Pastor Raphael Koo. And he is on set with the Regional Director North America and Caribbean region, Pastor Beltane Harrigan. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning. Morning.
All right, so I understand that CEF is the largest organization in the world that's bringing the Bible to children. Is that correct, Pastor Harrigan?
That's right. In 1937, God laid it upon the heart of a pastor that was in his 60s who did not believe that children could come to faith in Jesus Christ. So he tested it, found out that it worked, and then went across America, Canada, came as far as Puerto Rico to be able to introduce the truth of Christ to children. And it is now a worldwide ministry in almost every nation of the world.
What's the approach to bringing the truth of Christ to children?
Well, we're about evangelizing them, discipling them in the Word of God, and then getting them engaged into Bible-believing churches for Christian living.
All right. Now, I want to bring Pastor Koo into the conversation. Yeah. Pastor, as a National Director, what does it mean for you to lead this mission here in Belize?
It's a great privilege because we have a nation and over 110,000 children below the age level of 14. That's where we want to reach this new generation, or every generation, because they are the present. Sometimes we talk about the future of the nation, which is true. But if we don't invest in them now, then what kind of future is going to be there? And the best hope for the children is to come to know God. and for their lives to be changed.
Are we seeing more and more children being evangelized in the region?
Yes, and around the world. In fact, in this ministry last year, we were able to present the gospel to over 31 million children. Okay? And out of that 31 million, over a third of those actually put their faith and trust in Jesus Christ. And so our goal year after year is to be able to reach more and more children. In fact, we want to reach at least an additional 10 million every year. So for instance, we've got a program that's called Christmas Party Clubs, where we present the real meaning of Christmas to children. So we just finished it between November and January, and we were able to reach 12.5 million children around the world with the great news of Jesus.
And so you all deal with big numbers, and Belize is a part of that, and Belize is a small number in that grand picture. How is it, Pastor Koo, that you all are accomplishing this mission here in Belize?
Christmas Party Club. So we have the program, excuse me, in the month of November, December, January. That's when we have not only trainings, but the actual reaching of the children. And in this past year, for the Christmas Party Clubs, we reach over 2,600 children, only in that period of time. So we're part of the bigger picture. So Belize also is reaching children. You know, children are all over the place.
And so what does the fruit of that labor look like?
Well, many more children hear the gospel. That's important. So we don't just tell them Bible stories. We present a Bible lesson, which is the content of the gospel, so that when we invite the children to believe, they will not believe on Bible stories merely. They're going to believe in the gospel. Because the Bible stories, the children, you basically ask any child, Bible stories, they know it like this. And if I were to teach just Bible stories, the children can tell me all those Bible stories. I don't have to repeat it. But when it comes to the gospel, that's a different matter.
And the meaning of it in terms of it having some sort of transformative
Exactly.
effect.
That's what the gospel does. The power of the gospel transforms the life of the child. Not just the hearing, but his own life. And that's what we want with the children, that their lives will be transformed so they can become better children. We have better schools, better churches, better communities, better country. What's the hope for Belize? It's the gospel. It's the change in the heart of the boys and girls.
Do you get many volunteers throughout the year? Because I know this is the Christmas Party Club is one of your many initiatives, but what are other initiatives that you do throughout the year?
So there's the regular, what we call the good news clubs. Those are regular Bible lessons that are taught throughout the year. We have our Bible lesson books that we train the teachers, and we give them those. We equip and we provide the resources free of cost. So my responsibility, or one of my responsibilities as the national director, is to promote the ministry countrywide. So I travel northeast, west, and south. So connecting with churches, we seek partnerships. So I meet a lot of pastors, church leaders, and I present, this is who we are, and this is what we do. And we would like to be a part of your ministry if you would like us to be involved. And this is the way, this is what we do.
Correct.
And the focus is, how are you reaching the children in your community? Not only in your church, but in your community. What is your vision for the children in your area and for the nation? Because at the end of the day, the children in the nation are our children, per se.
Now, so Pastor Harrigan, what brings you to Belize at this time?
Because of the children of Belize. They're my children. The region's children are my children. And I want to come and support the work here. I want the people to see that even though I'm the regional director, I'm a Caribbean man.
Okay.
Okay, so I want to come and support my people. The beautiful thing about this ministry is that we've got 7 highways that we are on in regards to these children. So we've got, say, from ages 5 to 11, we minister to the Good News Club. And then we've got the Christmas party clubs. We've got also between 12 and 14, we're able to reach that group of children through Junior Youth Challenge. Then after that, 15 to about 18 to 20, we've got Christian Youth in Action. We train the little children that come to faith in Christ, children reaching children. We give them the opportunity to be able to share with their peers. We give out literature so that they could come and grow more in the Lord. And then this is the age, the digital age.
Yeah.
We are also reaching the children digitally.
You must.
You better believe this little thing here, this little thing here that we hold in our hand is a powerful, powerful tool that children spend hours.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that we present God's content, godly content for them to also be able to look at. The beautiful thing is that God has been amazingly good to us. Certainly we need volunteers. We go into churches. We are not a church. We go into churches and we give the churches an opportunity to be able to help us to partner with them, because I pastored for 37 years. If I could ever pastor again, I would devote a lot of time to reaching the children. Here's why. In Belize, there are 110,000 children under the age of 14.
Yeah.
That's a quarter. I guess I think there are nearly 400,000. Okay, that's a quarter of the of this. Okay, while the children are 25% of Belize population, they're 100% of Belize future.
Yeah.
Just think about that, 100%. So we know that we've got to be able to minister to those children, because there are at least 4 different areas in our lives. We are mental, we are emotional, we are physical, but we are also spiritual.
So gentlemen, how do we find out more? If we want to know more about CEF, where do we go to learn more and even to support the ministry?
Well, that's a good question. The office is at 10 Gill Street, but my number is 610-9424. You can call me, and I have my email also, and I will come and visit and answer the questions on how we can partner, how we can help. We're here to help. And the materials are free of cost.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you have the material, you have the expertise, you have the vision, and you just need for people to reach out so you could build the partnerships. So we want to thank you both for joining us this morning. It's a pleasure learning more about CEF and the work you all are doing. Congratulations and keep it up.
Yeah. And you can also go online. We have cefonline.com.
For the global.
Wonderful.
cefonline.com.
cefonline.com. Every child, every nation, every day.
All right.
With that, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we have one final conversation for you all. Don't want to miss this one. We'll be right back.
Full-Tech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Full-Tech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy Inc. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Full Tech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
At Habet and Abet and Brothers Abet, we've always proudly celebrated Women's Month. This year, we celebrate women keeping the balance at home, at work, and in their communities. That's why all March long, all women receive 15% off store-wide, from paints to plumbing and everything in between. Plus 30 to 65% off lots more deals on sale and clearance. With trusted experience, top quality products, and service that's second to none, we're here to support women every step of the way. Visit or call us today. Happy Women's Month from all of us at Habet and Abet and Brothers Abet, doing our part to balance the scales.
Get your body sculpted with gym equipment and accessories from Belize. Quality and savings.
The future is calling. Belize Bank. Your future, our commitment.
Look here, your kitchen light there and been in the kitchen.
But I'm going back in there right now.
And the coffee maker?
Just to try keep my coffee warm for later.
Where do you know?
I'll try to think more to eat.
You know the more you open and close the fridge, it takes longer for the food cool.
Uh-huh.
For a hot day like today, it burns more energy. You charge your phone right now?
No.
Plug it out then. You really only wash 2 Lee socks and 1 Lee shirt? You don't know what small load burn the same amount of electricity as large loads?
But this is my favorite shirt.
You have to be more energy efficient. Use large loads. This AC they blow hard. You know, if you keep the temperature at 25 degrees Celsius or higher, you burn less energy and you also keep the place cool. And for a nice day like today, turn off the AC, open up the house and make some fresh breeze come in.
You know what? I think I get it now. As consumers, we need to be more energy efficient and practice energy conservation.
Chen. Welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned with us. This is our final conversation for the month. It's live TV, guys.
Yeah.
So things happen on live TV, but we are keeping the show rolling this morning. And this one is all about encouraging STEM through Lego with BHS. That's the Belize High School. And we're joined by IT teacher at the Belize High School and FLL event lead, Mr. Sergio Pech. Good morning, my brother. And we're also joined by Miss Iris Sosa, who's an IT teacher and a mentor at the Belize Elementary School.
Yes, that's right.
It's all right, good.
Excellent.
Diversity there. And then we also have Miss Helen Liu, who is a paleontological discoverer, if you would, or adventurer, explorer, and also Miss Amy Chen, and she does archaeology.
Archaeological discovery.
Okay. So this is part of that. All right, we'll get it correct. No worries, we'll get it all correct.
But
we'll
Paul,
work it all out.
we also have some friends with us online.
And then joining us via Zoom this morning, we have Muffles College, and they have their own panel, a host of people. I think they're watching us.
Yes, they are watching.
Good morning,
Good
Muffles.
morning, Muffles.
Yes, so there we have them. Can you all hear us? Yes, you wave. All right.
All
good.
right,
All
thank
right.
you.
So this is exciting times. Mr. Petraf, perhaps you can lead us off to talk a bit about this event. What is the event?
Okay, so this event is happening on Friday, right? It's an entire day where students get to showcase their creativity, their designing. It also pertains to innovation projects. So this year, as you can see on the map, that it's unearthed. So it deals with archaeology. So students have a task to do a bunch of research and design and come up with a real world problem they're given, and they kind of have to portray on how they will tackle this situation. Now, it's not only limited to, oh, you just build a robot and then that will tackle the situation. You go further than that. You could build a program, you could build a robot, you could do 3D modeling. So it's unlocked to all the students' imaginations. Don't only stick to one thing and then it kind of just stays right there.
All right, so help me understand the roles of the students that we have on the couch this morning.
Okay, so the roles of the students are that they come up with their team, they come up with a team name, and they design the robot to tackle the different missions that are on the mat. Now they have different missions with different points. So depending if they solve the mission, they get based on points. So they get 3 rounds, and at the highest score, that's the score that they end up with.
So this is something that you guys chose, or was this something presented to you all?
It's presented to us. So this is a first Lego League challenge. So this happens everywhere around the world. So then they come up with the task, and then we just get the mat and the problem to solve.
Okay, I want to get Muffles into the conversations because clearly it's a challenge, and other schools are we have elementary, Belize High School. How does Muffles compete with Belize High School and Belize Elementary?
And other schools.
And other schools. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, let's talk about your roles in the Lego League.
Okay, so first of all, my name is Carlos Blanco. Good morning to all of you guys. And my role is the actual physical interaction with the mat. I'm the one in charge of doing the missions, building the robot, and also the coding to the robot. So that's my role in the first Lego League.
Okay.
My name is Manan Alwani, and I am in charge of the innovation project, coming up and observing a problem, doing the necessary research, and then coming up with a feasible solution.
Good morning, my name is Krishna Rabin, and I am in charge of building and designing the robot for the challenges.
Can we get the 2 gentlemen on both sides in the conversation as well? Just introduce yourselves.
Okay, my name is Michael Williams. I assist students with the innovation challenge.
Good morning, I'm Karim Ramirez, and I'm also assisting them and guiding them in preparation for the challenge.
Excellent. So that's one of the things we're seeing here. You have the students, and then you have the teachers
mentors.
or the mentors. Miss Iris, Mr. Sergio spoke about his role at the high school level, I believe. What's your role at the primary school level?
Well, apart from being an IT teacher, I also have my robotics team as well. So we start from very early. We also we have the robotics throughout the entire school at our level. So we start from the kinder and we go all the way up to the standard 6.
Wow.
And so we've been participating in the competition this will be our 3rd year. And last year, one of the elementary student team actually placed 3rd in the competition. So I'm looking forward. I'm very hopeful this year. I brought Helen with me. She is the leader of one of the teams. We have 2 teams this year going in.
Nice.
So yeah, so she is the team leader and also programmer for her team.
So help me understand how this is going to work, because we have different schools, different leagues. We have you guys, we have Muffles. Are you all going to come together in one space and do this challenge? So let's talk about that.
On Friday, we begin at 8 in the morning. We have it scheduled out where we will have the teams from the various schools doing their presentation, their innovative presentation. So we have that going all day. So till 1:32, 2:30, we will be finished with that. So we have the gym at school where we will all come together on that day. So we will also have like a little mini expo on that day, showcasing the different projects the other levels are working on as well.
Let's get Helen and Amy into the conversation. Explain your roles, because I completely botched your roles earlier. But we can start with you, Amy. Talk a bit about your involvement.
So I am the team captain for Team Archipelago. Sorry.
And that's okay. Take your time.
So I am captain. I work for both innovation and the building aspect of my project. So for our programming side, we have different members that work on the mission field, but we also have some members that work solely on build. However, we try to include all our members when we're trying to present our ideas, so that we could receive opinions from all of our different members. So while I am mostly on innovation, we still try to include our other members to express their ideas on how we're going to tackle this problem. So for instance, this year we're trying to make our project more of technology rather than science. While some of us are more talented in giving up innovative ideas, some of us are more gifted in the technical field and more of the hands-on side.
Correct.
So I would say, yeah, we have different roles, but in the end, we still work together in union. We all do the same task. It's just that some of us are working more on one side.
Now, I know, Helen, you are going to do a demonstration for us, right, Helen? That's what you're here for. But before we continue the demonstration, I want to bring Muffles back just to talk, for the students to talk a bit about what preparation has been like leading up to the competition. So you all could take it away.
Okay, so for the models, we have been 1 academic days on every single time or period we have. We have been looking towards the goal. Since my role is the challenges, I have I say a little bit more responsibility. So me, myself, and 2 other guys, we have been working hard to make sure that we have it ready and to execute as well as we can, and make sure everything's ready for Friday, the big day.
All right. Yeah, go ahead. Continue. You could go ahead. The second student, yes.
For the innovation challenge part, it's 3 of us that are working together with making sure that the codes work, making sure that the prototype is set. We had multiple days where we would just sit down, talk, analyze, and understand each other. And then now we're just ready. Our prototype is set and just awaiting the big day.
For the building part of the challenge, we design attachments on the robot according to the different missions, so it would be simple and easy to execute.
All right.
Well, I really I'm curious to see how you're going to categorically place these students. How many schools are you looking forward to hosting on Friday?
This year we have 6 different schools, and then 2 BS and 2 BHS schools. Okay. So a total of 10 teams that will be participating for this.
And I think it's important to highlight that there's a competition at the end of the day. So you have winners You have people who come in first. So while we're all here on one set,
Camaraderie.
there's opponents in the room.
Yes,
And I
indeed.
see Amy looking at her opponents on the screen like, all right, you better come good for muffles. But Helen, you're going to do a demonstration for us this morning? What has it been like preparing for this competition?
Well, it's kind of hard in a long way because we have builders, researchers, and programmers. Programmers, they program the tasks, and builders, they build this robot for me to program, and researchers, they're doing like challenges and things on a poster board for presentation. And on the competition day for the judges to listen. And so far, like for coding, I'm on the third task with my other team members that are programmers. We all come together to have ideas, like such as not only me, because if it's only me thinking about it, it won't be fair for the others that participated. So we give everyone a chance to go up and try to code, and if their coding or like their way of thinking is kind of wrong, I will like tell them what to do, because I have experienced 1 year of robotics when I was in standard 4 already, and I can teach them how to code to make them pass down the way of how coding for the next year students that are joining for robotics.
How old are you, Helen?
12 years old.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
She's been coding for
this year.
awesome. She's been coding since she was what, 11?
All right, so Helen, you can begin exactly the demonstration that you have for us this morning. It's only Helen doing the demonstration, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, go
Okay.
ahead, Helen. Yeah.
There's like an amphitheater in there. I love the theme, by the way. But that's my own bias coming through
from archaeology.
From archaeology.
So what are you going to demonstrate for us this morning?
It's about the robot doing the task.
Yeah.
It's gonna run and do all the tasks and grab the brush and that over there back to me, and then
You get
with the
points
arm.
for performing tasks, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Sometimes it's always a question.
Yeah. I've seen one of these competitions before, but it's really fun. And then it gives the students
Let's see what's happening here. Is that a task performed?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
See?
That's
Kinda
a task failed.
So when it fails, does it have to go back and try again, or does it
you
know
have
that
time.
it failed?
You have a certain
If we
amount
have
of
time.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it depends on it, because this arm is supposed to bring that brush up back and to me, and it's gonna push those two, like the one that has a red tower thing and a red, it's gonna push those to this arm.
Okay.
And then it's gonna bring that one that has a string and bring it back to me.
So Helen, you're telling me that the way you design the robot is not just random, that you design the robot specifically to perform certain tasks.
Yes.
Okay. So since this failed, what are you supposed to do next?
Run it again to
Run
make
it
it,
again.
run it again in like a specific angle again that I position it in, and then make it run, and then try if it can get back the task that I actually wanted, to bring it back to get me points.
How do you control your emotions when you have time counting down?
Maybe think about like I can win. Like think about I can win. Don't be scared. I can win.
And be calm.
Be calm.
You know, I hosted, I was MC for one of the events some time back, and I'll tell you, April, it's way more exciting than one would think technically, because you actually have the two teams competing at the same time in performing the task, and they have a time limit. And as that time counts down and those points add up, or those points are deducted based on what's happening, then it's like, all right, who I win, who I win. And these kids get very very exciting.
But like my
when they break
anxiety
points.
go up when I realize, like when I'm looking at them, because you see what's happening on like a screen, right? From a spectator perspective, you're seeing this screen. But then when the task doesn't go as planned, I look at the students and the calmness that they have to ensure that they just fix what they gotta fix and go back and try again is very, very inspiring, because I done made a panic and I never even me.
All right, so Mr. Sergio, as we wrap up the conversation, and we want to thank you all for joining us this morning and
thank you,
giving us some
Muffles, as
insight.
well.
And we also want to wish all the students all the best in this year's competition. Sergio, just final thoughts, anything you'd like to highlight in closing?
Yes, we would like to invite anyone that would like to come and see it. I mean, you can come. There's the expo happening, the competition happening. Majority of the schools are coming. You know, they're excited to be here participating. At the same time, we would also like to acknowledge our sponsors, because without them, it wouldn't be possible, right?
Correct.
Since we're a private school, we're dealt with limitations as to what we can do. So if we could just kind of highlight that as a moment, then that would be really good. So we have Heritage Bank, we have a Row Group Company, GSCom, My Lights, Niche, Public Utilities Commission, Atlantic Insurance, Belize City Council, Caribbean Paper Mill, Erickson Chi, and then we have our last but not least, Ministry Education, Culture, Science and Technology. So we would like to give them a big thank you on behalf of the school, on behalf of the students and everyone, for allowing this to happen and have all the students to be encouraged and continue this on.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you all. Best of luck to all of you. Thank you so much, Muffles, for joining us virtually, and wishing you all the best as well. But we got to wrap up our Monday morning and say a big thank you to all of our guests that joined us on the couch this morning and had the conversation with us. And thank you to our viewers, because without you, this would not be possible. It is March 16th. And if it is your birthday today, happy birthday to you. If you have a birthday shout out or just a question or a comment, you can drop us a line right here at oie@greaterbelize.com.
You could also catch us live on Facebook every weekday morning at Open Your Eyes BC.
And on Instagram at OYE Belize. We also have our TikTok, that's openyoureyes.bz, and a WhatsApp number where you can call us and text us at 675-2555. But please do us a favor and join us again tomorrow when you open your eyes.
And start your morning right.
Till then, keep your eyes, your minds,
and your hearts open.
Have a wonderful rest of your Monday, Belize. Bye.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.